Yo, what's up, guys? UFC London. It's here, guys. It's this weekend. MOSVAR EVLOEV versus LERONE Murphy. We're back, guys. JamesKeller MMA is back, predicting the whole card. And, guys, we got a pretty good card ahead of us. UFC London's pretty decent. Honestly, I'd give it like a 7 point, maybe 3 out of 10. It's a decent card. Honestly, there's some good fights, some not so good fights. The main event, though, main evented by two undefeated contenders. I think that, the winner of this fight will end up fighting Volk for his belt. Honestly, I thought that LeRone Murphy deserved a title shot after the spinning elbow KO over Aaron Pico. I don't know why they ended up skipping him and giving it to Diego Lopez too. We were blessed with that rematch instead. Like, I don't know. Honestly though, I'm excited to see this fight though. The two undefeated contenders. Whoever loses, has to get to the back of the line, and whoever wins ends up fighting Volk. Now, who do I think is going to win? Who do I think is going to end up losing their O? We'll get to that, guys. We're going to get into the full card, breaking it down, starting with the first fight, going to the end. Um, you know, Starting with the card opener, we have Melissa Mullins versus Luna Carolina. Now, this fight is a kind of a close fight. I think that is Luna Carolina might be a slight underdog on the betting scales, but I think that Melissa Mullins, there's a reason for that. I think that Melissa Mullins is going to go in there and end up winning this fight. Luna Carolina is coming in there off of that loss, the unanimous decision loss, where her last fight she kind of showed that she's not the greatest. She's not the greatest. I mean, Melissa Mullins isn't the best either, but she's decent. She does have decent striking. She does put up a decent pace, and I think that Luna Carolina has shown in her previous fight. She does have 5 losses on her record coming off of that unanimous decision loss. Like I said, she's shown that she's not the greatest. She's not the best. She doesn't really have the skill level to compete with these women at the UFC level. I could see it being a close fight. I could see it being a 29-28 decision, maybe a split decision, but my heart's going with Melissa Mullins. She's the hometown girl. I'm taking Melissa Mullins winning this fight. Yeah, I don't think I'm not really too high on Luna Carolina. Yeah, either way, though, coming on to our next fight, Chanel Dyer versus Ravina Oliveira. This fight is kind of a feeder fight for our girl Chanel Dyer. I'm not even gonna cap with you. She's the hometown girl. She's fighting out of England, and Ravina Oliveira is not the greatest. She's coming in there 7-3, coming in there off of a loss. Chanel Dyer, this is her debut. I think that she is a huge favorite coming into this fight, and I think this should be an easy fight for our girl Chanel Dyer. She should be able to win this fight easily. She could win this fight via first round or second round finish. I'm not taking her by that though. I'm taking her by decision. I could see this fight going to a decision. This is kind of a feeder fight for our girl Chanel Dyer. I'm taking Chanel Dyer by unanimous decision, 30-27. Not really much to say there. All right, guys, coming on to our next fight, Shamrock. We got Shamrock versus Abdul Karim Al Salwati. Now, both these guys are coming in there off of a loss. Abdul Karim Al Salwati's loss, though, he did get finished. He got knocked out, and that was actually 2 years ago. He took a 2-year layoff off of that fight. He's coming in there off of that layoff, and I think that Shamrock will go in there and mop the floor with Abdul Karim Al Salwati. I don't think that Abdul Karim Al Salwati is that good. I know that he has that one win over George Hardwick on the Contender Series. But yeah, I think that Shamrock is going to go in there, look good, look clean, maybe use his grappling to take Karim Al Salwati down and dominate him on the ground. But I think that Shamrock will have his way with Abdul Karim Al Salwati. Shamrock is fighting out of the gym with Luke Riley, with Paddy Pimblett. And I think that he'll be looking to go out there, put on a performance in London. And yeah, against an opponent like Abdul Karim Al Salwati, I think that is a perfect opponent to do that. I know Shamrock is coming off of that unanimous decision loss where he lost all 3 rounds. But in that fight, he didn't look terrible. He didn't look the worst. He was able to stay in that fight and sort of make it competitive. He didn't win any of the rounds, but he didn't get totally dominated. He didn't get knocked out in the first round like our boy Abdul Karim Al Salwati did in his last fight. And I think that Shamrock will be able to find the finish in this fight early easy. I'm taking Shamrock by round 2 finish. I'm not sure if it's going to be by TKO or submission, but I could see a Shamrock submission. I could see that happening, but I could also see a TKO. I'm taking Shamrock, though, by round 2 finish. That's my prediction. Coming on to our next fight, we got a heavyweight scrap. Oh, man. Louis Sutherland versus Brando Pericic. Now, don't you guys just love a UFC London fight night? This is amazing. We get to see our boy Louis Sutherland and Brando Pericic. Now, both these guys are coming off of their UFC debuts. Louis Sutherland is coming off of that fight where he fought Walter Walker and he got heel hooked. That happens though. That happens if you fight Walter Walker. Brandon Pericic though is coming off of that win where he knocked that guy out, where the guy was in on his hips and he hit him with the elbows. Boom, boom, dropped him to the ground, finished him with the ground and pound. So yeah, going in there, Brando is the big favorite. They have him as I think the plus 200 something favorite against Louis Sutherland. And do I think that Brando's going to win? Yes. Do I think that he should be that big of a favorite? Nah, I don't think he should be that big of a favorite. I do see him winning this fight, though, on the feet. I think that he is a much technical, a much more skillful striker compared to Louis Sutherland. Brando is coming out of that city kickboxing gym with Izzy and all those guys. I think that Brando has very, very clean, elite striking, very technical striking for the heavyweight division. As a 6'5" guy, he's got long reach. I think that he's going to go in there and look good against Louis Sutherland. Ultimately ending up securing the first round or second round finish. I'm taking him by first round finish. I think that this might be a slugfest. I think that Louis Sutherland might get tagged early and get frustrated, look for big shots, and Brando Pericic is going to hit him with bigger shots and end up putting him away in the first round. I'm taking Brando by first round TKO. That's my pick. All right, guys, coming on to our next fight, we got Montes Contratafish versus Antonio Tricoli. Now, Montes Contratafish, this is kind of a feeder fight for our boy. I'm not even going to cap to you. Antonio Tricoli's coming in there off of a 3-fight losing streak. He's been finished in his last 3. So, yeah, Antonio Tricoli is coming in there riding a 3-fight finish losing streak. The last 2 being in the first round. He lost to Mansour Abdul Malik via guillotine choke, and then he lost to Tresean Gore. And then he had that fight against Shar Bullet, where he was literally just a punching bag for our boy Shar Bullet, and then he got knocked out. I think that Montes is coming in there as a minus 700 favorite, which is a huge favorite, but I think there's a reason for that. I think there's a reason why Antonio Tricoli is such a big underdog. It's because he sucks. It's because he sucks. He's terrible. He's coming in there as 12-6. I don't know what his purpose is in the UFC. I think that if Montes starches him early in round 1, he's probably going to get kicked out of the UFC. And if he doesn't, then this dude has, some serious Dana White privilege. But yeah, I'm taking Montes by round 1 knockout, easy knockout. I think that he's going to find the chin of Antonio Tricoli quick, easy, land a big, powerful shot. Montes is coming in there. This is his UFC debut. But I think that this is kind of like a pusher fight for our boy. Obviously, we know Antonio Tricoli's terrible. I'm taking Montes by round 1 knockout. Okay, guys, coming on to our next fight, we have a heavyweight bout. Mario Pinto versus Felipe Franco. Now, Felipe Franco is coming in there. He's taking this fight on a month's notice. This is a short notice fight for him. A month is a decent amount of time to take a fight. But against Mario Pinto, I think he's absolutely fucked. I think that this is a terrible fight for him. Mario Pinto is a 6'6" monster, hits very, very hard. All it takes is one punch for him, and the fight is over. And he's supposed to fight Mick Parkin. Mick Parkin ended up getting injured. I think that fight might have been a little bit more competitive. I think that Mick Parkin maybe would have given him some troubles. But against Felipe Franco, I'm taking Mario Pinto. Now, Felipe Franco's coming in there 10-1. He does have 6 knockouts of his own. But short notice, fighting a guy who with such a large reach advantage. This is heavyweight, though. They're all pretty big, But yeah, Mario is huge. He's 6'6". Felipe is 6'1". He's going to have the massive reach advantage. And I think that Mario Pinto is going to find the first round knockout. I think this might be another slugfest like the other heavyweight fight. And if it doesn't, end up being a first round knockout for our boy Mario Pinto? Could Felipe Franco end up maybe scraping by and winning a decision? The way I see Felipe Franco winning a decision is if he does use his grappling on his Tapology. He does actually have 4 submission wins. So I think that he's coming off of a rear naked choke win. I think that if he does use his grappling in this fight, he could win a decision. He could end up winning a decision, maybe even getting a submission win over Mario Pinto. But I don't see that happening. I don't really see that happening. I'm taking Mario Pinto. I think that Mario Pinto is going to continue his undefeated streak, winning this fight. Yeah, via TKO, round 1 TKO. I'm taking Mario Pinto. Yeah. Okay, guys, coming on to our next fight. Nathaniel Wood versus Losien Guete. Now, this is Losien Guete's debut. He got signed to fight Patricio Pitbull. That fight, he ended up missing weight. He came in at 149, if you guys don't remember. And then Patricio, they had that moment backstage where he's like, I can't sweat. And Patricio Pitbull's like, I'm a professional, dude. I'm a professional. And then that fight ended up getting canceled. They ended up giving him another fight against Nathaniel Wood. They rebooked him, and they gave him Nathaniel Wood. And honestly, against Nathaniel Wood, I'm taking Nathaniel Wood. I think that Losien Guete is going to end up losing his UFC debut. He's coming in there as the big favorite, 16-1. He has massive power in his hands. If you've seen this guy's highlight reel, he hits very, very hard. He's got dynamite in his hands. But I watched this dude fight, and even in the fights where he's knocking those dudes out, there's moments where he's struggling. He's struggling with the grappling, struggling with not finding a finish. When he's not finding a finish, he tends to to not look as invincible as you would think that he would if you've seen his highlight tape and just his record. He is 16-1. He does end up finding a way to win those fights. And sometimes he does end up ultimately ending those fights via knockout, finding the knockout. Nathaniel Wood, though, has proven that he is able to get wins against the UFC caliber guys. He's coming off of a win against Jose Delgado, where he ended up getting dropped early in that fight, coming back, dropping Jose himself, and winning a unanimous decision. And I think that might be the story of this fight. He might go in there, lose the first round, but not get finished. He might get hurt. He might get cracked. But I think that his recovery, his ability to not get finished is what's going to be able to win him this fight. And I just think that Losien Guete will struggle in this fight. This is his UFC debut. He hasn't really fought anybody at the level of Nathaniel Wood. And I think Nathaniel Wood will maybe show him some problems in this fight, in his first fight in the UFC. I'm taking Nathaniel Wood by unanimous decision, maybe 29-28. I could see Losien Guete winning moments of this fight. He obviously could win this fight via round 1 knockout. He hits very hard. But if he doesn't get that round 1 knockout, I think Nathaniel Wood will end up gritting out the unanimous decision. I'm taking Nathaniel Wood. Hammer it. Okay, guys. The last card on the prelims, Mason Jones versus Axel Sola. I'm taking Mason Jones. I know Axel Sola is undefeated. He does have a very good grappling game, does have a good grappling base. But I think that Mason Jones has great grappling of his own. And I think that Mason Jones has great striking of his own. I think that Mason Jones will defend the takedowns of Axel Sola and be the one to hand him his first loss on his record. Mason Jones, he does have that win against Jeremy Stephens, where in that fight, he showed moments where, Jeremy Stephens, he ended up winning that fight via unanimous decision. What I'm trying to say is I think he could have looked better in there against Jeremy Stephens. There was moments where Jeremy Stephens was looking decent, and Jeremy Stephens at this point in his career shouldn't be looking that good against a guy like Mason Jones. But I do think that Mason Jones has a very, very good set of skills, very good grappling of his own. I think that against Axel Sola, he'll be able to do what he wants. I think that he'll be able to dictate where the fight goes. If he wants it to be on the ground, if he wants it to be in the striking, I think that he'll keep it on the feet and tag up Axel Sola, winning a unanimous decision. Maybe he could finish this fight. I don't see that happening. I see Axel Sola grinding out a decision, but I'm taking Mason Jones by unanimous decision, being the first person to hand Axel Sola his first ever loss in MMA. Yeah. Okay, guys, coming on to our main card opener. We got Curtis Campbell, the Pink Panther, against Danny Silva. Now, am I taking the Pink Panther, Curtis Campbell, or am I taking Danny Silva? I'm taking Danny Silva, guys. I think that Curtis Campbell, the Pink Panther, watching his fights, watching his Contender Series win, I think that this guy is terrible. I think that this guy has a very awkward style. It's kind of goofy. It doesn't look very it doesn't look the best. It doesn't look the best, and I think that Danny Silva will end up going in there and being the underdog win. I'm picking a lot of underdogs on this card. Curtis Campbell is decent. The UFC is very high on him. I think that they like him. They think he's a funny guy. He's kind of got a personality behind him with the whole Pink Panther thing. But I think that he's not that good. I think that Danny Silva is going to go in there, give him a fraud check. I know Danny Silva is coming in there off of a loss. He's coming in there off of that unanimous decision loss to Kevin Vallejos. But in that fight against Kevin Vallejos, he had some success. He looked decent. He didn't get finished. He didn't get knocked out like our boy Josh Emmett did. I think that Danny Silva will be the one to hand our boy Curtis Campbell his first loss. I don't think Curtis Campbell's that good. I keep trying to call him Chris Campbell. I'm sorry, Curtis Campbell. I'm taking Danny Silva in this fight. I think that Danny Silva is going to be the one to hand Curtis Campbell his first loss. I don't think that Curtis Campbell's that good. I think that in this fight he's going to lose in front of his hometown, in front of his home people, but that's life. That's life. That's what happens when you fight a boy like Danny Silva. All right, coming on to our next fight. Christian Leroy Duncan versus Roman Dolidze. This fight I'm actually very excited for. Christian Leroy Duncan is coming in there off of his last two knockout wins. He has that spinning back fist knockout, and then he had that spinning elbow knockout before that. Christian Leroy Duncan has just been looking so good in his last fights. And Roman Dolidze, come on, guys. We all know Roman Dolidze. We know him for his wars, his banger fights with Marvin Vettori. He had that one fight with our boy Anthony Smith. I think that Christian Leroy Duncan is going to go in there and make a statement of Roman Dolidze. I think that he's going to knock him out. I think that this will be a big moment for Christian Leroy Duncan in London. In front of his home crowd. I think that he's going to put on a statement performance, knocking out Roman Dolidze early, badly. And I think that that's what the UFC is thinking too. That's why they're giving him this matchup. A guy like Roman Dolidze is kind of over the hill in his career. There was one point where Roman Dolidze kind of looked like he might be a problem at middleweight, but I don't think that at this point he's going to do anything. I don't think that he's going to make a run at middleweight. And I think that Christian Leroy Duncan's kind of on the rise of his career. He's sort of entering the prime, and they're giving him this matchup to see where he's at, to see if he's able to compete with the top level at 185. And if he's able to go out there and do what he's been doing to these guys, like what he did to Eric Anders, like what he did to that guy in his last fight, to Roman Dolidze, I think that he'll be on the fast track to maybe fighting a top level 185er and maybe fighting for the belt soon, because I'm high on Christian Leroy Duncan. I think that he is the next up in the 185 pound division, and I see him proving that by doing a murder on our boy Roman Dolidze. I see him wrecking our boy early, easy, violently, stuffing the takedowns. That's the only way I can see Roman winning this fight, is if he's able to use his grappling. He does have very, very good grappling. He has that one submission, like calf slicer kind of TKO win over Jack Hermanson. Has a very, very sneaky submission game. But I think that Christian Leroy Duncan has great grappling of his own. He's going to be able to defend the takedowns, keep it on the feet, and end this fight brutally in round one. I'm taking Christian Leroy Duncan by round one knockout. Yeah. Okay, guys, coming on to our next fight, we got Iwo Baranowski versus Austin Lane. Now, Austin Lane might be the worst fighter in the UFC. One of them. He's one of the worst fighters in the UFC. He's coming in there with a record of 13-7. Austin Lane is 1-4 in his last 5. And in those 4 losses, he's been finished in all of them, being brutally knocked out in a couple of those. I don't know. I don't know what he's still doing in the UFC. I'm taking Iwo Baranowski Easy first round knockout. Austin Lane has no chin. The chinless fighter, especially cutting down from heavyweight to light heavyweight. Now, Ivo Baranowski did have that one crazy war with Aslan, and I think that he gained a lot of fans from that, and I think that the UFC, I don't know what the UFC was thinking with giving him this matchup. Maybe they're like, yo, that was an awesome fight. Let's feed you a easy knockout. But I think that this is an easy knockout for our boy Ivo Baranowski. I'm taking him by round 1 knockout. Hammer it. Okay, guys, coming on to our feature fight. Michael Venom Page, MVP versus Sam Patterson. I'm taking Michael Venom Page. I think that Michael Venom Page, I'm very high on Michael Venom Page. I know that he is older. This is kind of the later stages in his career. He's way out of his prime. If you guys seen Michael Venom Page in his prime highlight tape, I know that he was fighting not the best competition in Bellator, but still he has a very, very lethal style of darting in and out, very unorthodox timing. He's kind of one of those fighters. He's a one of one karate style fighter. Like Wonder Boy's really good at it, but Michael Venom Page has mastered it. Him and that one dude, Raymond Daniels, if you guys ever seen that guy, the karate style of cutting in and out is so lethal and so deadly, especially if you can carry power behind it. And Michael Venom Page has proven that. Even in his later, older age, he's been able to hurt all these dudes he's fought in the UFC. His only loss is to Ian Gary. And in that fight, Ian Gary, was forced to grapple him the entire time. Ian Gary, known for being a very elite striker, wasn't able to land on the feet against Michael Venom Page. I think that Michael Venom Page is an underrated striker. I think that against Sam Patterson, if this fight is on the feet, Sam Patterson is just going to get tagged up for the majority of the fight until he gets hurt, dropped, hit with big shots. If Sam Patterson is looking to win this fight, the way I see him winning this fight is if he uses his grappling. He uses that grappling game that he has to look for takedowns on Michael Venom Page. He has to be sneaky with the takedowns, though, because he can't just be looking for shots wide open in the middle, because Michael Venom Page will hit him with big shots as he's coming in. The timing of Michael Venom Page is one of none. And the timing of Michael Venom Page is seriously, one of a kind. He'll catch you if you're trying to come in sloppy. So I see Michael Venom Page winning this fight. I see him winning this fight by an easy decision. I don't know why Michael Venom Page, coming off of that Jared Cannonier win, they're not giving him, a bigger name than Sam Patterson. I think that the reason is because no one wants to fight him. If you beat Michael Venom Page, it doesn't give you much, and if you lose to Michael Venom Page, that's another loss added to your record, and no one wants to lose to Michael Venom Page. And I think that Michael Venom Page is a tough test. He's a tough test in the welterweight division, at welterweight, at middleweight. But yeah, I see him winning this fight against Sam Patterson, tagging him up. Give me Michael Venom Page by unanimous decision. Yeah. Okay, guys, coming on to our co-main event. Luke Riley, let that shot go. Luke Riley. Luke Riley versus Michael Aswell Jr. Now, Luke Riley's coming off of that UFC debut versus Bogdan Grad, where he had that awesome knockout. We all know the knockout. He got dominated in the first round with the grappling of Bogdan Grad. Bogdan Grad's decent. Bogdan Grad's good. And Luke Riley was able to come back and knock him out early in the second round. He's like, no, we're not doing any of that grappling anymore. I'm knocking your ass out. Beautiful win for Luke Riley. Undefeated, 12-0. And Michael Aswell Jr. is coming in there 11-3. Michael Aswell Jr. is decent. He's not the worst. Now, Michael Aswell Jr., he's pretty decent. He's not the worst. He's coming off of that TKO win over Lucas Almeida. He actually did fight Bogdan Grad too, and he lost in his decision. In this fight against Luke Riley, I'm taking Luke Riley. Luke Riley is quick, hits very hard, has power for a featherweight, and Michael Aswell Jr. gets hit. He gets hit. He's shown that in his previous fights, even the fights that he's won. He can get hit. He can get tagged. He kind of walks forward with his chin out, and Luke Riley, I think will expose that. I think Luke Riley is a very elite, very technical striker, training with that boy Paddy Pimblett. I'm not saying Paddy Pimblett's the best striker, but I think Luke Riley's a good striker. He's 12-0, has wicked knockout power for a featherweight. I see him winning this fight, even if he isn't able to land the big knockout shot on Michael Aswell Jr. I see Luke Riley tagging him up on the feet enough to win a unanimous decision. I don't see Michael Aswell Jr. Doing anything to Luke Riley. I think that Bogdan Grad is a much tougher fight than Michael Aswell Jr., but that's just my opinion. Yeah, I'm taking Luke Riley by unanimous decision. I think that this is an easy fight for our boy Luke Riley. This is kind of they're feeding him Michael Aswell Jr., to kind of hype up the crowd, maybe get him a knockout. But I don't know. I see this fight going to a decision. I'm taking Luke Riley, though. Coming on to our main event, the main reason we're here, the two undefeated boys. We made it. Holy smokes, guys. MOSVAR and EVLOEV versus LERONE Murphy. Now, I'm excited for this one. The reason being is the winner of this is going to fight Volk for the belt. Now, the winner of this fight will end up fighting for the title, and the loser of this fight will lose their O. They'll end up with a loss on their record. They'll lose their undefeated streak. And both these guys are good. Both these guys have proven that they're tough. They're tough, top-level UFC featherweights. LERONE Murphy came into the UFC at 7-0. Is now on a 10-fight winning streak, coming off that knockout over Aaron Pico. MOSVAR EVLOEV, he's shown. Now, here's the thing about MOSVAR EVLOEV. He's fought tougher competition compared to LERONE Murphy. He does have a win over Arnold Allen. He has that win over Diego Lopez. Although he's fought the tougher competition, he has that win over Aljamain Sterling. He's shown weaknesses in those fights. He lost a round to Aljamain Sterling against Diego Lopez. He got cracked on the feet a couple of times, and Diego Lopez took that fight on, I think, like 6 days' notice. So, yeah, MOSVAR EVLOEV has shown that even though he is 19-0, he has a perfect record. He is, the toughest grappler at featherweight. He's shown that he does have some weaknesses in his game. And because of that, I'm taking our boy LERONE Murphy. I'm taking the miracle. I'm picking the miracle to happen this weekend at UFC London. And the reason I'm taking that, LERONE has shown weaknesses in his fights too. He got cracked against Edson Barboza that one time, and then he ended up, coming back and winning that fight. Now, the reason I'm taking LERONE Murphy over MOSVAR EVLOEV is because of the game plans and the matchup styles in this fight. I know what you guys are thinking. The grappler usually always wins against the striker. But I really think that LERONE Murphy is going to be able to not only defend takedowns, but if he's able to get taken down, he's going to be able to get back up off of his back against MOSVAR EVLOEV. Use the takedowns actually to land big shots on the feet. MOSVAR EVLOEV has very, very telegraphed takedowns. He has this one takedown where he likes to shoot a jab into a single leg, and I think that LERONE Murphy will be able to capitalize on MOSVAR EVLOEV's sloppy takedowns, maybe hit him with a big knee as he's trying to shoot in, crack him with big shots. I'm taking LERONE Murphy by unanimous decision, maybe split decision. Could MOSVAR go out there and win a 5-round grappling decision? Yeah, it could happen. It could happen. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I think LERONE Murphy is going to go out there with more heart than we've ever seen before. And he's going to go out there and hurt MOSVAR, crack him, bloody up his face, hit him with big shots, big spinning kicks to the body. Although, like I've said, MOSVAR has faced the tougher competition, I truly think that LERONE Murphy might be the toughest test he's had yet. Undefeated, young, hungry, powerful striker, clean striking, has good takedown defense of his own, has 51% takedown defense throughout his UFC career. And like I said, he's 17-0 with 10 wins in the UFC. He's fighting the top level at UFC featherweight. Same with MOSVAR EVLOEV. But I think that LERONE Murphy will go in there, maybe end up losing the first couple rounds. He might get taken down. He might get controlled. But I think that in those first 2 rounds, he'll be working his way back up to his feet. And in rounds 3, rounds 4, rounds 5, he'll start to pick up his pace of his own and land big shots, stuff the takedowns, ultimately ending up winning a unanimous decision. Yeah, I'm taking the underdog. This is kind of a card full of underdogs. I don't know. I didn't notice that before I made this video. I picked a lot of underdogs on this card. Um, I'm excited though. I'm excited for UFC London. We love a London card. We love to see the London boys get at it. Let me know your guys' predictions down below. Let me know if you guys are liking the prediction videos, if I can do anything differently. There is an episode of the Prospect Watch coming this Friday. It's coming tomorrow, guys. I hope you guys enjoy. I'm dropping a recap video after the event is done. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But yeah, guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed my prediction video. I hope my predictions are right. And I will see you guys in the recap video. I'm out. Peace.